I want to talk about something that's almost lost in the martial arts world today. I prefer using the Japanese terms for this. This is called Shu Ha Ri. Shu Ha Ri are 3 stages that a martial artist goes through. And by the way, this isn't just a martial artist. This applies to any discipline out there. Shu means to come together. And what this means is that you are being conformed to a mold. In other words, you are training your mind and body to conform to the mold of the martial art you are learning, and what you are doing is your teacher's martial art. Sadly, most martial arts these days go to the Shu stage and stop. The Ha stage means to break. In other words, you break the mold. You start to realize that what your teacher does works for your teacher. It does not necessarily work for you because there's differences in the way people's bodies are. There's differences in injury modes that people might suffer from. There's differences in the way people think as well. So at the Ha stage, you break the mold. You break from what your teacher's teaching, and you no longer conform to the mold of what your teacher taught you, but you start to develop what works for you. And this is why you break. Ri basically means transcendence. Now, in essence, what it means is you've already broken from the mold, and you've been broken from the mold so long that you've now become the martial art. You're no longer conforming to the martial art. You're now making that martial art conform to you. And now things work for you because you are the martial art now rather than the martial art molding you into something. One story I heard whenever I did a little bit of Kyudo training was about an archer. This sort of explains the Ri stage. They say that when an archer dies, he fires one last arrow. And why is this? Well, a beginner, when they're first learning how, they need to sit there and have their mind tell their body to draw the arrow, notch the arrow, draw it back, release the arrow. But when you hit transcendence, you're now the complete opposite. You have to tell your body not to draw, notch, pull, and fire that arrow. You've transcended. You now have to tell your body not to do things. From a karate perspective, to throw a punch or a kick, someone who's at the Shu stage at the beginning, they need to tell their mind to throw a punch, or have their mind tell their body to throw a punch or throw a kick. At the Ha stage, they still have to tell their mind and body to throw a punch or a kick, but now they got little differences in it to make it work for their body and their mind. At the Ri stage, you now need to tell yourself not to throw a punch or a kick. That's what's going on with all 3. And sadly, everyone wants to stay at the Shu stage, so everyone's exactly the same, and it's actually become a very bad thing for martial arts. Those who stay in the Shu stage, they're the ones that wonder, well, why doesn't my martial art work? Well, it's because you're trying to do something that works for your teacher. It may not work for you. You need to do little tweaks to it to make it